Hello everyone, Danielle here with Blooming Heart Shop. In this video, I will show you how to make an S hook to finish off a bracelet or necklace. This is a great alternative to a lobster claw or the spring clamp. Gives it a different kind of aesthetic, different look. Also, if you don't have these on hand, it's very useful to be able to make your own ending. There's a few different varieties for it. I've got the one that I showed you with the S hook right there, and then I've got a more simple version with a little infinity ending and the S hook. Both really good ways to finish off a bracelet or necklace. I've got this beautiful gemstone link bracelet here that I need to finish off. I've done one here, as you can see. I've got that one done. Now I need to complete the other one. The tools that I will need are some nylon jaw pliers, some step pliers, round nose pliers, bent nose pliers, straight nose pliers, flush cutters, and you will need 2 gauges of wire. You will need an 18 gauge wire and a 20 gauge. You need these two because you need it for the different strengths whenever you are making the hook. This needs to be in that thicker gauge in order to provide durability and strength, and it won't bend as easily. So this needs to be that thicker gauge, 18 gauge, and you can have the connector be a 20 gauge just for the durability and the strength. All right, so I've got my unfinished bracelet piece here. Let's get started. I'm gonna make the connector first with the 20 gauge wire. All right, let's get it nice and straight. I'm not gonna need a very large piece for it either. Just gonna kind of make maybe about 4-inch piece right there. Tuck that away, put that back. All right, so first up, I take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to go about 1.5 inches down on my piece of 20 gauge wire. I make a 90-degree bend. I'm going to take my round nose pliers and go on the smallest little loop right there. I'm going to loop it around, and if you have issues grasping that, grab those bent nose pliers and bring it around. Straighten it out, and I've got my little loop there. Be able to take those same bent nose pliers open it up and attach it to one end of my link bracelet. I'm going to close it up and then wire wrap it closed. So I'm going to take those bent nose pliers here and I hold it, and then I take my other bent nose pliers and I'm going to very carefully wrap around and close off that loop. It provides extra durability. There we go. I'm going to just give it a couple of loops like that. There we go. Make sure that I pinch everything nice and closed. And then I trim off the excess. And I pinch it down in case there's any little bits poking up. I'm gonna pinch it down. All right. So now I've got it attached to my link bracelet, and I'm going to make the connector loop. I get those chain nose pliers and make another 90-degree bend. I'm going to want to make sure that I'm staying in line with this loop that I made there. So I grab it right about there, and I'm going to give it a nice 90-degree bend. Here's where you can use your step pliers to make a larger opening for the connector. I'm going to go with this third step right here. Twist it all the way around, adjusting my pliers. Go. I'm going to close it up, hold that loop, use my other chain nose pliers, bent nose pliers, I'm sorry, to wrap that around and close that loop off. Closed loop means nothing comes out of there. It is secure. I like these wire wrapped closed loops. All right, I'm gonna pinch that down. Make sure that I adjust everything. Now I've got my connector loop right there. Now to make the S-hook for the other side. All right, now we're going to be using that thicker 18 gauge wire to make that hook. Don't need a very large piece, so I'm going to keep it right about there. Snip off. All right, now I'm going to do another 90-degree bend, kind of in the middle of this piece. Get my round nose pliers and make my loop, my small loop that I'm going to use to connect to the link bracelet on the other side. Using those bent nose pliers to handle this thicker 18 gauge wire can be kind of tough to use. All right, slip that on there. I'm gonna close that loop now with this bent nose pliers. I'm going to grasp it and hold it with those bent nose pliers. Use my other pair of pliers that I have to wrap around and create that wrapped, closed loop. All right, trim off the excess. And pinch down, oops, any ends that are kind of poking up. Right, so I've got that closed loop now. I'm going to create that S hook. Take the chain nose pliers. We want to make sure that it's in line again with that loop that you just made. I'm going to take it just a little bit above that wrap that I made and give it a 90-degree bend. I take the step pliers and tuck it right up under there. I'll be able to bend it around. I make a little bend right there, where I'm going to make another loop using those round nose pliers again, getting it on the smallest little loop that I can, using my pliers. There we go. Trying to get that around. All right, so now I've got that, and I get to trim off the excess tail. Just kind of take these flush cutters and go right up against the other one. Go pinch it down, and now I have that nice little S hook bracelet. Works for a necklace as well. Nice way to not have to keep buying your endings or give your bracelet or necklace a different look. In another video, I'll show you how I made this simple gemstone bar bracelet, and I did it with a more simple infinity and S hook style ending. I'll show you how to make that ending in another video. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Please check out my other video for tips and tricks and other tutorials. I hope that you have happy making, and always remember to bloom, babe.